Ciao, sono Mary Ann Esposito.
E Michele Rabazzi?
Today on Ciao Italia, classic Tuscan dishes. Italy is a land of many hearts, but one that beats the strongest is the region of Tuscany. Famous for its landscapes, art, food, and especially wine, they blend together for guests who visit Castello Banfi il Borgo, thanks to executive chef Michele Rabazzi.
Occhio al filetto, eh? Ora stanno arrivando 12.
With a sure hand and a decisive manner, he understands food and wine, like Michelangelo understood paint and brushes.
Ok?
Today, he's creating two masterpieces for us. A Toscana, see? All right, I said to him, this is Chef Michele, and we're gonna make a real classic dish today, very Tuscan dish called Pappa al Pomodoro, which you would translate to kind of a soup, right? It's a soup.
Exactly.
With bread and tomatoes. So how do we begin? How do we start?
Okay, we start with our base. We have celery, onion, and leeks.
Okay.
So we just cut in big pieces.
But for this recipe, it's critical the bread, right?
Exactly.
The bread is important.
Has to be Tuscany bread.
Has to be Tuscan bread.
Yeah.
And many of you may know that Tuscan bread is without salt. Senza sale, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So we're going to put the celery in a
I
pan.
nostri salumi sono molto salati.
See, so the reason that the bread is saltless is because what they put with it has a lot of flavor, like the salumi, the cured meats, the prosciutto, the
Exactly.
whatever other products that you use that are very tasty. Salami, capicola, mortadella, those types of things. So now you're going to add carrots.
Yeah, now we're peeling the carrots.
Okay. So how did you get into cooking? How did you learn to cook?
I learned from my grandmother, and after I start to travel around the world for learn new things, and work, a lot of work and patience.
And patience,
Yeah.
yes, because cooking takes a lot of patience. So this Pappa al Pomodoro is served as a first course, a primo. See?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a first
Primo
course.
or starter.
Or a starter,
Yeah.
okay. And it's a thick soup.
Yeah,
Right.
it's thick.
What do we have to do to the bread to get it thick?
We have to toast it, and after we have to add with our base with tomato,
Yeah.
and bake it a bit again,
Okay,
for a bit
so-
more dry.
So you couldn't use a really soft, mushy bread for this.
No.
If somebody wanted to try making this in the States at
Exactly.
home, you would need to use a really good, firm bread. Or you could always try making Tuscan
Yeah.
bread, right? But you need to start with a
It's
starter.
the best way.
Is the best way. All right, so we have our carrots. Are you making a sofrito?
Exactly.
Sì, okay, so.
Normal sofrito.
Sofrito is where you combine classic ingredients, flavorful ingredients like carrots and celery and onions, and you cook them, saute them in a little bit of olive oil to really bring out the flavor. And then he's going to add other things. So we have a little aglio here.
Yeah.
Un spicco d'aglio.
Solo
Uno
per
spicco d'aglio.
il sapore.
But it isn't true that in Italy you use a lot of garlic.
Not like the word imagine.
That's right, not like the world imagines, that so much garlic.
Yeah.
All right, so we left that whole intero.
Sì,
Sì,
intero.
aglio intero.
An onion.
And an onion. Solo uno.
Solo una.
Okay, solo una. And how long are we going to let this cook?
5 minutes.
5 minutes? Okay, good. And with
And
a little bit
after?
of olive oil, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're using extra virgin olive oil.
Always.
Always. People ask me this all the time. Can you cook with olive oil? And the answer is yes.
You don't have to fry with the olive oil.
You don't have to fry with
No.
olive oil? You don't fry with olive
No.
oil? No, because that would destroy the flavor
Yeah,
of the
because
oil?
the smoked point is so low.
Yes.
So
yeah.
you risk to burning everything.
Right, okay. So we have the, and I'll get rid of this for you.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
now what? What is your favorite dish? What do you like the best?
For me, Fiorentina T-bone steak.
Oh, that's a good answer because that's a very classic dish too. The T-bone steak, which is just warmed. It's not really, it's on a grill and it's delicious, but it's not overcooked.
We have our sofrito.
So now we have the sofrito ingredients.
Exactly.
And we're adding some olive oil.
Just a
Just
bit.
a little. Okay, about a couple tablespoons maybe.
And we start.
And we start to cook
The cook.
over a low flame. Starting to smell good.
Yeah.
Starting to smell. But I asked him, is now the time that we're going to add salt and pepper? The answer is no. We will do that afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we got this cooking. What do we do next?
Now we cook our tomato for
Okay.
via concassé.
Okay.
So we just boil for a few minutes. Depends the size of the tomato.
Right. And I noticed that you put a little X in the
Yeah.
base that makes it easy
peel
to
better.
peel the tomatoes. Okay, so that's just going to take a few minutes. All right, so now we're going to cut these tomatoes in half because we have to add them to the
Our base.
our base. That's a good way to put it, to our base. Why do you like these pomodorini?
Because it's more sweet
Okay.
than the San Marzano.
More flavorful than the San Marzano.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's more fresh
Yeah.
and the color is amazing.
And
It's
it cooks faster.
red.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it cooks
and it
faster.
cooks faster.
Okay, that's good. So we have a lot of tomatoes here. We need all these, right?
Yeah.
All right. And you know, Michele was telling me that he's traveled all over the world, but he's never been in the United States. I invited him to my house. So he's going to come next year. And I'm going to cook for you, right?
Yeah, right.
Yes, I'm
I'm ready.
You're ready? Okay. American food, right?
Why not?
Okay. All right, there's our tomatoes. So now you've got your whole tomatoes, and we had them in the boiling water just to loosen the skin so that he can peel them. Because now what he's going to do is he's going to make a mix of the cooked tomatoes and these tomatoes chopped. He's got to take the seeds out first, though. So he takes off the skin, and then the seeds will come out. Ok, e questa è una ricetta della nonna?
Sì, è una ricetta della nonna.
Okay, so yeah,
Questa è una ricetta molto antica.
yes, this is a very old recipe. It's, you know, a grandmother type recipe. Della nonna, nonna means grandmother in Italian. So now he is taking off the seeds very quickly to make the concasse.
Concassé.
Yes, it's concasse, which is French actually.
Yeah.
Questo è un nome francese, see?
Esatto.
Okay. All right. Good. And you're using the San Marzano?
Yeah,
tomato?
San Marzano tomato.
Right. Why?
It's,
Meaty, pulpy?
è molto buona come consistenza della polpa.
Okay, so it's just, like I said, the pulp, it's thicker, it's firmer. It'll hold up better when he cuts it into small pieces. You can tell that he's done this several times already. He's very fast. Very fast. And when you're not cooking, what do you like to do? Do you have
Cooking.
Oh, me too. I don't have any hobbies.
No,
Everybody
my
says, do you have a
hobby.
hobby? What's your hobby? Cooking, right?
Cooking.
And when you go home, you cook, right?
I cook.
You cook. And you
Yeah.
cook in the restaurant all day, and then you go home and you cook. Does
Exactly.
your wife cook?
Just sometimes.
Uh-huh.
When
Okay.
when I'm not at home.
She's smart. She lets you do the cooking.
Yeah.
That's good. And you couldn't really do this with overripe tomatoes because then they wouldn't hold their shape. So, perfetto.
Eccoci qua.
Sì. Un capolavoro.
Grazie.
Okay, so I would say that, you know, we have here about a cup and a half for the conquise.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm getting hungry. Ho fame. Ho fame.
Dopo mangiamo.
See, afterwards we're going to eat. Okay. So now our sofrito is ready, right?
It's ready.
It's ready, okay.
So we can add our cherry tomato
All the cherry
and
tomatoes.
basil.
Okay. And the basil, fresh basil.
Yeah, fresh basil.
Because if you tried to do this with dried basil, not good.
No.
Not good because all the oils are gone. So you want to use fresh basil. And you really want to cook this dish when the tomatoes are in season, of course.
Yeah.
So lascia così per 30 minuti.
Aggiungiamo anche i pomodori pelati
Okay,
e
so
lasciamo per 30 minuti.
Okay, so now he's adding the peeled tomatoes, and we're going to let this cook down for about 30 minutes. And while that's cooking, then we have to work with the bread part of this recipe.
Yeah.
Okay, that looks good though. So he's cutting it up in a dadini.
A dadini.
Sì, a dadini,
Exactly.
so little cubes. And si lascia così, Alio, così.
Sì.
Okay, he's just leaving the
Because we have to take just the flavor.
the flavor with the paper. So he isn't even taking the paper off. So just one clove of garlic goes in.
In Italia we call in camicia.
In camicia, so with the shirt on, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I like that, in camicia. So the garlic is not peeled; it has its shirt on. So in camicia.
We just break like this.
Yes.
That's it.
Okay. So how long are we going to toast the bread?
Like 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
10, 15 minutes,
Okay.
depends of the freshness of bread.
Okay. So do we want it very hard or no? You don't want it
Yeah.
too hard. We do want it very hard.
Yeah, because like this, he take out all his water.
Yeah.
And he take all the water of the tomato.
Okay.
That's
So
why.
the bread is going to absorb. Remember all that beautiful tomato mixture that we're going to use with the bread. So the bread is going to absorb all of those flavors.
Of oil.
So I would say that's looks like about 5 cups of cubed bread, a little oil,
Yeah.
extra virgine.
Sempre extra virgin.
Okay, e sale. Now we
A
add the
bit
salt.
of salt.
Sale. Okay.
And
E
just a
pepe
bit of
nero. Okay. And the oven temperature is what?
145.
145.
For dry, 145 is the
145,
best
okay,
because
so
you cannot burn like this.
Right. So maybe about 350 Fahrenheit, I would say.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah. Okay.
And we put in the oven.
Okay. This is so beautiful to look at, just the smell of it, and look at how nice and thick it is. Can
Be
I
perfect
post
now. Of course.
okay. I'm going to have a little taste
The
of this.
best
'cause-
part of the kitchen.
Yes, taste it. The tomatoes are very, very sweet. E senza sale.
Senza sale.
We didn't put any salt in it.
Till now it's senza sale.
Senza sale right now. So now he's going to puree all of that. All the carrots, the celery,
Everything.
the onion, everything goes in the mulino, or the food mill, if you have one at home. If you don't, you could put this into your food processor and get it smooth. So he's getting all of that. It's just, I mean, really, the taste is fantastic. Look at the color of that. Gorgeous.
Thank you.
I've got all of that out because that's all good. And then you can take a piece of Tuscan bread and just go inside the pot.
Yeah, make scarpetta.
Right, okay. And that gets all mixed up now, right? Now you're
Yeah.
going to mix this, okay?
We mix everything.
Now the oven is on what temperature?
145
145. And how long are we going to let this cook?
for 45 minutes
Okay.
almost.
I'm ready.
Ready. Voila.
Okay. Come si chiama?
Patate Duchesse.
Okay, so he's making potatoes Duchesse style. È un francese, sì?
È una ricetta francese.
Yeah, this is a French recipe. Duchess potatoes, sort of elegante, sì? Sono
Sì, elegante, è facile da fare, molto bella
Alright.
da presentare.
So all he did was boil some potatoes. And at home, I would use like a Yukon Gold potato. This is a yellow potato. And now, after boiling them, he peeled them. And now he's putting them through the food mill because he's getting them into mashed potatoes. One thing I would caution here is if you do this and you don't have a food mill, do this by hand with a potato masher. Because if you do this in a food processor, they would become just too gluey. So I don't advise you to do that. These are really rich. This is going to be rich tasting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Pepper.
egg yolks.
Exactly.
Butter.
It's not too, it's a bit heavy.
Yes, yes. Okay. Lots of butter.
Not a lot.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
a bit.
Okay.
Okay.
So, a good hefty tablespoon of butter. Yeah. And
A bit of Parmesan.
Parmigiano Reggiano.
Reggiano, sempre.
Parmigiano Reggiano. That's that cow's milk cheese. Comes from Emilia Romagna. Okay, and now
And?
the egg yolk.
The egg yolk.
Just the yolk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
Solo uno.
Due.
Due. Okay. Allora, numero
Ecco
due.
qua.
Okay. Oh, this is looking good already.
Okay.
Parmigiano.
So now we have our piping bag.
Now the fun part. Okay,
How
now
to
the
hold
fun.
this?
This is a pastry bag.
Pastry bag.
Pastry bag.
Thank you.
Okay.
Voila.
Va bene. Okay. And here he has, because he's going to bake this in the oven, he's got what's called carta da forno. This is parchment paper in a bake pan. And now he's going to do it with a tip, a star tip. And he
So
twists
now-
the bag. It's easy. And he makes the classic shapes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. I mean, come on. You can eat mashed potatoes or you can have this. This is much more interesting. Beautiful. Un artiste.
Grazie.
Now, you know, Michele went to school for 2 years, and then he left school and he went around the world cooking. So he loves his job.
I love.
He loves his job. You make people happy.
I try to do my best for
You
the...
make people happy. Every day you get up with a smile on your face, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Gorgeous.
I do what I like, so
Yes.
why not?
Okay. Beautiful.
Just
Now
put
more cheese on top?
just
Yeah.
a bit.
Yeah. So pretty. E quanto tempo ci vuole? How long?
Questo
will cook?
15 minuti a
15
200 gradi,
Okay, so he says about 15 minutes.
but almost.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Okay.
depends
You
on
wanna
the
see
humidity.
Yes.
You have to sew when it's gold on top.
Yes, when it's
It's
just
ready.
a little golden brown on top, that's when they're, because they're small, it's not gonna take a
Voila.
long time for them to cook. Voila! So look at how this bread has just absorbed all that tomato. I'm gonna actually taste this because
You have
it's too
to.
good to pass up. Very good, very good. Okay, what's next?
Next, add the concassé
The concassé,
Yeah.
which is the diced up, remember, tomatoes, the fresh ones.
and
So we got a lot of different texture going on here. And
Just
now un po' di basilico.
a bit of basil.
So fresh basil. Remember, you're using fresh herbs for all of this stuff. Beautiful. Gorgeous.
And some extra virgin olive oil.
Now I know some of you are thinking, well, are you going to eat it like this? And the answer is yes. Now you know why it's called Pappa al Pomodoro,
Exactly.
right? Pulpy. It's pulpy.
Pappa means the consistent.
Consistency of it. Pulpy. It's a soup, but it's not a soup.
Exactly.
It's a soup, but it's
strange
not a soup. And it's probably something that came from, you know, it's a poor dish, right?
Yeah.
People had bread.
Very poor.
They had a few vegetables, tomatoes. They made something out of it. So it's a classic poor dish. And you're mashing down the bread a little bit.
Just a
yes,
bit.
yes, but you want to keep the texture.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And we were talking earlier, and you said sometimes you can put other things with this. Like I've had it with a little bit of burrata on
Yeah,
top.
burrata on
Burrata.
top, some carpaccio. Or you
Carpaccio.
can use some quenelle for make a battuto.
A battuto of some vegetables, maybe a piece of fish, a little piece
Yeah,
of bacala.
some of bacala
Yeah,
on
right.
top.
That would be delicious. So there's many, many variations. And Michaela, you said that you could go knock on every door in the neighborhood. Everybody makes
Everybody
this
make
differently.
different.
Yeah. Wow. Beautiful. And now?
We use some basil, just for garnish. And the internal leaves of the leeks.
See, now, you know, in Italy, nothing's wasted. A lot
Nothing.
of people would throw this part away, the
That's
leaves.
the best part. It's
I
the
like
more
it.
soft.
Me too. I love it too.
And it's very fresh for
Yes,
these
and I
things.
like it in soups and stews, and so he's using it as a little, isn't that nice? See, you don't have to use expensive ingredients.
No.
You can use simple things. And
Just a bit
little
of
bit
rucola.
of arugula. Oh, boy. Oh, wow. Out of something so simple, so beautiful.
We don't need
No,
to be
nothing.
too much sophisticated.
No. E un po'
Just
più di oliva.
olio di oliva.
Olio di oliva. Sopra. Oh, get me the spoon.
Now you have to taste.
Oh my God. Of course I do. I want to get a little bit of everything. Buonissimo. I wish you were here. So, that is delicious. Now we have to make the tagliata.
Perfect.
So now we're ready, and this is going to go on a
Yeah.
really hot grill, right?
Really hot.
Really hot.
5 minutes. 5 minutes. Which side?
Don't even think about asking for this well done. No.
No.
No. It's
Absolutely
a sin
no.
in Italy to ask for this meat well done.
Just rare.
Right. And it's called tagliata because of the cut, right?
Yeah, because we
tagliata.
cut. Yeah.
Tagliare. Okay, tagliare. Okay, so that's why it's called tagliata. So we only have to wait a couple minutes.
Yeah, some minutes.
Okay.
So first we have to cut.
On the diagonal. Yeah. Beautiful. Cuts like butter.
Very easy to cut.
Remember, this is for 2 people.
We just put on the paper for take out the blood. Some salt from Maldon.
Yes. Coarse salt.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So-
Malden salt, he called that.
We start to plating.
Those are those Duchesse potatoes that he did.
Okay.
Beautiful. Okay. And
Just-
we're not finished.
Now, just a bit of our rucola.
Arugula over the top, which has a little bit of a spicy taste.
Yeah, and they don't need salt or something like this. And this is Parmesan.
Parmigiano.
We make some scaglia.
Okay, just some, yeah, good, okay. Wow. It's getting better all the time.
And oil. That's it.
That's it. That's it.
And voilà.
Basta. Voila. You're a genius. May I kiss you? Mwah. Mwah.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you. Michele, che bella giornata oggi, because you have taught me so many things about traditional Tuscan food.
Yeah.
Should we tell everybody what you did?
Today we prepare our Pappa al Pomodoro. So we have our traditional soup, kind of soup with tomato and bread. We prepare by celery, onion, and carrots, and different consistency of tomato and our fresh herbs. And after we prepare our Patate Duchesse with the mashed potato, eggs, and some Parmesan cheese and butter. And after we have our Tagliata, is chianina beef, just grilled with some rucola, Parmesan cheese, and cherry tomato.
Thank you so much for your hospitality, and chin chin.
Chin.
And until I see you nella cucina again, sono Mary Ann Esposito.
Michele Rabazzi,
Ciao.
ciao!